Hi, my name is Jessica Redfern, and I work at the New England Aquarium, where I'm a senior scientist and the leader of the Spatial Ecology Mapping and Assessment Program, or as we like to call it, EcoMap. And I'm so excited to be here today to talk to you about the research and conservation science that we do in EcoMap. Our mission is to assess the risks to marine species from human activities and climate change. And we do this risk assessment so that we can collaborate with stakeholders to find solutions to marine conservation challenges. And I'm going to tell you about one project that we've been working on because I think it's a really great example of the type of work that we do. So this project started some time ago, back in 2012, with this paper that was published by Dan Pendleton, one of our EcoMap team members, and his colleagues. And they made weekly predictions of right whale habitat. Now, to make these predictions, they used a statistical model. And a statistical model requires two data sets. First, sightings of right whales. And you can see some beautiful examples of right whale sightings right now. It also requires environmental conditions. And those are simply things like whether the ocean is warm or cold, how deep it is the water salty or is it fresher? And it takes those right whale sightings and those environmental conditions and it brings them together to make predictions of whether we expect there to be a lot of right whales in an area or just a few. And I want to show you maps of those predictions. So here on this map, the white represents land and the arrow is pointing to Cape Cod, Massachusetts. And now I want to draw your attention to the legend for the map. So those darker black and blue colors represent the least suitable habitat for right whales. So it's area where the conditions are not so good for right whales and we wouldn't expect there to be many of them there. Whereas the bright yellow represents areas that have good habitats for right whales and we might expect there to be a lot of right whales in those areas. So now I want to draw your attention back to Cape Cod Bay. It's an area where we have these bright yellow good habitat predictions. And those black squares that are outlined in aqua represent right whale sightings. So this is an area where the model's doing a really good job. It's predicting good right whale habitat, and we had sightings of right whales in this area. But what about this area south of Cape Cod? We again have those bright yellow good habitat predictions, but we don't have any sightings of right whales. Well, it's important to know that those statistical models were made using data that was collected between 2002 and 2006. And during that time, there was little survey effort for right whales in this area, which simply means people weren't out there looking for right whales. So we don't know if these model predictions are right or not. Now, since that time, this area has been designated as a good location to develop wind energy. So if right whales are in that area, we want to think about the best way to develop wind energy so that we minimize impacts on right whales. Now the good news is that the New England Aquarium has been conducting aerial surveys in this region since 2011, and we now have this really valuable data set to understand which marine species occur in this area, when they occur, and specifically where they occur. And so this map is just showing you one of those aerial surveys. The black line represents where the plane flew, and the dots of the different colors represent sightings of different species. And we took our aerial survey data and we built statistical models for this region, specifically just for this region, so that we could understand where and when we expected right whales to occur. So I'm showing you predictions of right whale habitat for 1 year, 2018, and I'm showing you predictions in each month of that year. And again, the good high predictions where we'd expect lots of right whales are in the greens and yellows, and where we wouldn't expect as many is in the darker blue colors. And you can see those bright yellow and greens between January and April, and you can also see that they occur in the northern and the eastern part of the study area. So now we know when we expect right whales to be in this area and where we expect them to be. And this data is so valuable because it gives us the tools that we need to minimize risks to species and to work with stakeholders in finding those marine conservation challenges. So just to give you some examples of work EcoMap has been involved in, so we've looked at how do you address spatial risk to species. And specifically, we mean if we can understand where species occur, we can think about where we want to put human activities so that they occur in areas with the fewest species or fewest number of a specific species. And we've been working on wind energy. We've also looked at how do you minimize the risk of whales being hit by ships? How do you minimize the risk of noise in marine species habitat? And the risk that marine species become entangled in fishing gear. We've also looked at how do you address temporal risk. So that's the timing of activities. You might want activities to occur when you expect the fewest number of species or individuals in an area. And so we've been thinking about wind energy construction and also fishing seasons. So thank you so much for tuning in today. It's been wonderful to have this opportunity to share the work that we do in EcoMap with you. And we look forward to telling you even more about EcoMap in future visits. Thank you so much.